How's it going, folks? Jazz hands, we're doing it now. So this week, I had the privilege... I'm not really going to do jazz hands for the rest of the video. Had you for a second, though, didn't I? You thought, what a loony. It is hot over here in the UK right now. I'm shooting this in my room where it gets to, I'm going to guess, 120 degrees Celsius. Don't check me on that one. But you know what else is hot? New releases. I am chuffed. I'm very chuffed with that one. This week, I was lucky enough to catch Shiva Baby in cinemas for its one night in a cinema in the UK before it's released on Mubi, either today or tomorrow, or depending on when I put this up, months ago. I'm not gonna be that late. We'll just say this week. It's on Mubi this weekend, all right? And I've seen a lot of buzz online about Shiva Baby. So going into it, I didn't really know exactly what to expect, other than that it's a comedy and people enjoyed it. And coming out of it, I'm gonna add myself to that list because I thoroughly enjoyed Shiva Baby. It's directed by Emma Seligman, and this is her first feature film debut, but the film is based on a short film that she also wrote and directed a couple of years back of the same name, Who'da Thunk. And Shiva Baby is basically about, and I don't want to be too descriptive here because it's probably best enjoyed going in as blind as you can. So I'll give you the sort of elevator pitch on this one. And that is essentially that a young Jewish woman bumps into her sugar daddy at a Shiva film. And I like films that have a very kind of clear, simple premise. Situational, bam, let's just have a nice film from it. I say nice. Wouldn't be the first descriptive word I go for with Shiva Baby. Anxiety-inducing is probably a better one. Two sides of the same coin, really. This one was a bit of a whirlwind. It's one of those films which kind of creeps and creeps and creeps and ends up snowballing into this chaotic mess of energy. And I mean that in a good way. I was really, really impressed by Seligman's sort of confidence navigating such a chaotic film, because it's the sort of thing which is incredibly hard to pull off, you know? It's very sort of interrupted. Characters sort of talking over each other, shots just kind of jumping in the edit wherever they can find a way in. The focus is constantly shifting in a really erratic manner around a central character in this one environment. It can be a very difficult thing to pull off as a director for a scene in a film, let alone an entire feature, and this is her debut. This is her feature film debut. She nailed it. Really, really impressed with that, but also impressed with the fact that it does that in quite a natural way. There's a tendency to sometimes feel like you're doing stuff like that just purely for style's sake, I guess, as a new-time director. But instead of feeling like someone attempting to do a copy of better director's style, she does feel like she's just sort of owning it. She's doing her own thing and she's making it work. And the story it's telling is a really interesting one as well. I'm not Jewish, so I can't possibly pretend to know the ins and outs of Shivas or the grieving process for Jewish families. So the specifics of that side of thing are undeniably a little bit lost on me, but it's enjoyable nonetheless watching it and going through the ride with our main character. And it really helps that she's played amazingly by Rachel Sennett. She's brilliant. Well, I don't know what else to say. She holds this film, and she's got this really kind of genuinely uncomfortable comedy to her. She nails all the line delivery, which is essential. A lot of the comedy of this film, and it is a comedy, I guess, overall, comes from the awkwardness of situations and the uncomfortableness of what's going on, and it takes a certain type of performer to be able to pull that off perfectly. It's just incredibly entertaining and engaging just to watch her as she reacts to everything that's going on around her. And boy, does it go on around her. It's hectic. It's very hectic, this film. But as the film's sort of progressive, it kind of becomes much more, I want to say, sinister. There's a really like strange, sinister tone to the hecticness of this family engagement. There are these really sort of nightmarish like sequences where it almost becomes quite trippy, to be honest, as we go sort of deeper and deeper into the anxiety that a central character's feeling. And that's such an interesting way of attacking this very kind of simple premise, you know? As I said, it's pretty much as simple as that elevator pitch I gave you at the start, but using that kind of nightmarish, surreal way through film as a medium to approach that. Really smart, and also helps that she just pulls it off brilliantly. It's just a really solid screenplay, really tight, a very economic film, especially coming in at 77 minutes, which I absolutely appreciated. I'm not going to begin to open the door into the absolute bloody Narnia of internet discussion about runtimes in films, but I do appreciate a good, quick, economic, tight film. I would say, however, on that front, there was sort of one main thing that sort of held me back from really falling into this film, and I wonder if it'll feel like that on a rewatch now that I've watched the whole thing through and know where it's going. But I do think in the middle half there is this sort of strange moment where it feels as if you're going to just sort of be looping the same feelings, the same bits of drama, the same emotions, because essentially it is just a character being thrown into various different awkward and cringy encounters. And I won't lie, at a certain point I was a little bit worried that we were just going to sort of keep hitting the same beats over and over in different situations, but the fact that it is so sort of tightly wound and it knows where it's going at all points, it's very confident in its direction, makes it feel much more alive when perhaps certain things are starting to get a little bit repetitive. And I really like what this film had to say about what it was saying, and the way it says that, I've just confused myself. One too many uses of the word saying. That's my diagnosis. It's saying stuff about sexuality and almost sort of coming of age, but it's also saying that within this Jewish community. And it's never saying it too explicitly, but it is always there, if that makes sense. And I like that. I like that it never really derailed itself to go, we're talking about this. This is the point. It just lets that naturally evolve out of the craziness of the situation it throws its characters in. Really, really enjoyed it. Had a great time. Definitely one I'll be checking out again. Thankfully, I can now that it's on Mubi. But what about you guys? Have you had a chance to check out Shiva Baby yet? Did you see it on its festival run? Have you just caught up on it here on Mubi now that it's out? Whatever you thought about it, let me know in the comments down below. We'll have a chat. This is probably the point in the video where I tell you to like the video and subscribe if you enjoy watching this dumb face talk about films. And if you fancy it as well, why not follow me on Letterboxd? I've popped that down there in the description. Follow me so you can catch up with my thoughts on films a little bit more on time. I'll see you guys very soon for some more thoughts on films, because cinemas are open again and I'm seeing shit and it feels good. It feels good. What a time to be alive. I do take that back. It would be nice not to have the, you know, the pandemic.